Hello and welcome to week 2. Thank you so much for taking the time to introduce yourselves on the discussion board. You will find that when I was marking your completion, that's where I responded back to you to welcome you to the class. But I did want you to know that any discussion board that you do, I promise I read them all, even if I don't appear to be responding within the discussion board. Most of the time, I will put my feedback to you within your grading comment. But rest assured, anything and everything that you put into the discussion board and on our Canvas site, I see and I read. So I think it's really important that we get to know each other, especially in that first week. And I'm sure that you've already noticed that you either have classes with some of your classmates or you have had classes in the past. But most importantly, you start to make connections because you have similar interest. And so I think that is such an important aspect of an online class, is to make sure that we're still building a community even though we're not seeing each other face to face. So week 1 had you looking at the kind of the history of early childhood education, tracking where we came from. And really, it's going to be neat as we go throughout this course because we're going to spend a couple of our units in the historical perspectives, but then as we go through, we're going to be looking at what's happening right now, and as we get to the end of the book, we're going to start looking towards the future. So make sure that you are paying attention to these historical context because they really are going to build the foundation of where we're going to be going from here. So this week, you're going to start looking at what are the different types of programs that are out there in early childhood. If you drive around, you will notice that it seems like there's a preschool or a daycare center or a child care center or a church school on every corner. And so it's really important that we're aware of the different types of programs that are out there and the different models that they are built on. And so that's what Chapter 2 is going to be looking at. So you're going to see information about half-day programs and full-day programs and infant-toddler programs, Head Start, Montessori. There is such a wide variety of the different types of programs out in the early childhood field. And so it's really important that you start to get a sense of what is out there. So when you look into our course for week 2, remember this will always be your landing page, and so the announcement will always be up at the top. But modules is really where you're going to want to always go to. And so when we get into week 2 with the different types of programs, you're going to see that always there is a page that kind of says these are the objectives, this is what you're going to learn about. And then any links that you need. So as you can see that this week you're going to be looking at Chapter 2, and so I've already attached the Chapter 2 PowerPoint for you. Remember, do not rely on the PowerPoint. It really is meant to just be an extra resource for you. And the discussion board that you have for this week is going to focus on Head Start. And so we do have several Head Start and even some early Head Start programs in our area. And so I really want you to become aware of what they do, the type of services that they provide. So when you go to the Head Start discussion board, you're going to see that I'm giving you the link to their website. And so I want you to spend some time browsing through it, seeing everything that they have housed within their website. And then I want you to answer these 5 questions. And it really is meant to just kind of get you into the website and to become much more knowledgeable about Head Start programs. At some point during your time in the early childhood program, you're going to need to do an observation in a Head Start site. And so this is a great way to go ahead and find out about them and also find out their locations. So I just want you to answer these questions, and then don't forget that you need to respond to 2 of your classmates. And remember, good job will not get you credit. I'm not asking you to write a dissertation every time that you respond to a classmate, but I am asking you to get more in depth with what it is that they said. You can certainly say that you agree with what they said, but kind of add to the conversation, because remember, this is the only way that we are communicating with each other. So if you were sitting in a classroom and your classmate gave their responses, what would you say to them? How would you continue the conversation? And that's what I'm looking for you to do when you post your responses. So this is a fairly easy and straightforward week, only looking at one chapter, and you will find as we go throughout this course that that's basically the way that it's going to work. This class has 16 different topics that we're going to be looking at, and so I want to make sure that each one gets its fair chance to become familiar to you, because every class that you take after CHD 120 is going to build on one of the topics that we're talking about in this course. So have a great week learning about the different types of programs that are out there, and I look forward to reading your discussion board postings on the Head Start. I will see you in week 3.